see. Well, we'll start with the People Gotta Be Free original. Was written right after there was two very heavy assassinations in 1968. Martin Luther King and Robert Kennedy. We worked for Robert Kennedy's campaign to a degree, and People Gotta Be Free emerged out of that whole chaotic period. And as a matter of fact, the record company at the time, which was Atlantic, they really did not want the Rascals to be part of what they considered to be a political or some sort of a civil rights statement. They felt it would be damaging to our career, and it turned out that that was one of our biggest records. On the new album, the band that I recorded the new Epic album with was a session band, in that it was made up of guys who play on a lot of other people's records, and it turns out that they had grown up with Rascals. And the interesting part of the new People Gotta Be Free was that they had finished all of the tracks for the album, and they turned around and said, we're not leaving here until we do a Rascals song. And I said to them, well, the time is paid for, you guys are paid for, the record is done, let's go. And they played People Gotta Be Free, the new version, which is just, as far as I'm concerned, they played it so well that the entire staff of Atlantic, which is where I did this, it's not on Atlantic, but the staff, the secretaries, everybody came running into the studio to see what was going on. And when it was all said and done, I called up Epic and I said to Frank, I said, you've got to hear this. It wasn't planned on the album. It doesn't really fit the rest of the album, but it's too good to be left on a shelf in a studio in the vault that they have at CBS. And that's how People Gotta Be Free came about in 1980. And it looks like it may be in need again with what's going on in the world. Let's see. Going back to Groovin. Groovin was written because I was so in love that I couldn't see the other side of the street. And we worked, as a musician, we work when other people, I was going to say normal people, but we work when most people are off, in that their weekends are when we're performing. So the only time that I could be with this particular young lady was Sunday afternoon, and it just was a true story. Grooving on a Sunday afternoon was all we really had. So it was a very special time, and I think the people who were in love at that time will remember that song, and maybe even now. Now let's see. Good Lovin' is a result of my sensual desires. No, sorry about that. Good Lovin' was a song that the Rascals played in our club days. We did not write Good Lovin', but Good Lovin' was a song that got this fantastic dancing, jumping up and down reaction every time we did it. When we recorded it, it became a #1 record, but we really didn't like the version that we did. We felt that, since we had played the song so many times, that we could have done it a little better. Turned out that that was our first hit record, so from then on we kept it quiet. What else can I say song-wise? What else do you play?
Beautiful Morning.
Beautiful Morning? Well, Beautiful Morning, again, is part of this period with How Can I Be Sure and Groovin', where the love bug had really bitten. And the mornings, all of a sudden, you're a young man, you've got a nice lady, your records are selling, you're traveling around the world. Every morning was a beautiful morning, just about. And a little interesting side note about Beautiful Mornings, that I got a letter from a GI in Vietnam telling me that during that time they used to use that song for reveille in the jungle in this particular company, to get up to it in the middle of the jungle.
Want to say something about your new song, your new record?
The single?
Yeah, the single.
Well, the new single's called Only a Lonely Heart Sees, and I'm very proud of it because I like very much the job that we were able to do on that particular song. There's a little story about that song as well. The lyric was written by a young man by the name of Jay Tran, and this is his first attempt which came as a result of him being around the co-producer's wife. The man who co-produced it with me is a man by the name of Cengiz Yalkaya. And his wife evidently wants to be a manager, and she's managing this young boy. He heard the tape. She presented me with his lyric totally by surprise. I had no idea that he was even going to write it, and that's the one that we used. So the song, I think he did a beautiful job on the song, and I think that it's just exciting to watch somebody with their first record, because I remember what my first one was like. So as far as the other Rascals are concerned, as most people probably know, Gene Cornish was from the Rochester area, and he and Dino Danelli are still together. It's been quite a while. They've been together about 15 years now. They have a new band called Photomaker, which is on Atlantic, or was on Atlantic, and so we were able to play Rochester quite a bit. We came to War Memorial, and we had a few of our road managers also that came from this area with Gene, traveled with us. So we've seen this area quite a bit, and I was quite surprised to see how it had grown at this time. Eddie Brigati is also on this new album that I've done, and he and his brother came in to help me out singing on it. He's become a goat farmer in New Jersey. He's still writing for people, and I don't really know that he'll do any more recording. But I'm sure Gene will be surprised to hear that I was back in his old stomping grounds. Gene really had a desire. He wanted to be the first astronaut on the moon, but Eddie beat him, because that's where Eddie lives now. He's on the moon. Let's see. See, now Gene's family, if they heard that, they would not understand it, but they would really understand it, because Gene is a very interesting guy who came from your area. It's not my fault, folks. I went to school in Syracuse University for a few years, and started a group there, which left during my junior year to go and conquer the universe, and they were back in school after one semester. But being a stubborn man that I am, I stuck it out in the music business. What happened is the first semester went by, and I got a call from a band who was in Europe at the time called Joey Dee and the Starliters, and they asked me to go there and be their organist. And that really started my career from the college level to the professional level immediately. And well, I worked with him for about 2 years, and then good old Uncle Sam gave me a call, and I wasn't home. And due to the fact that I wasn't drafted or wasn't draftable material, I was able to pursue my career at that point without having to worry about being interrupted, and that's when the Rascals began. It was approximately 1965. We had 5 years of success, and I would say a lot of fun, more fun than we had any right to have, as far as I'm concerned. And I think we did a lot of things to help people who were in need. We did our share of benefits for just about every cause that was around that was worthy, and some that may not have been too worthy, but for example, we raised bail for one of the Hells Angels one time when this particular gentleman was in a little bit of trouble, but it was just a small thing, and I don't really see too much of that anymore, although the other night on TV I saw this nice Cambodian situation, brought back a lot of memories of a lot of people that cared about each other, and I think maybe the 80s will be bringing us back into a little of that. I'd like to say thank you to Danny Guilfoyle and Larry White for having me, and continued success with your program here. Larry is an old friend. He came to visit us a few times in the studio in New York when we were recording some of our madness, so he was there on the scene.